Hey everyone, Jess Barney here. Welcome back to the Barney Homestead. One of the questions I get asked a ton of is, what do you do in the garden and how long are you in the garden every day? And the answer to that is definitely that it varies depending on the time of season and depending on really just kind of like what's in the ground and what I have to do. So right now it is the middle of June. It is June 15th, actually right in the middle of June. And we're kind of, so everything is planted in the garden. It's starting to grow for the summer, and I am really into regular maintenance. We have finally warmed up around here, and I've got stuff that I do every day. So I'm usually out in the garden by 6 o'clock. It's currently 6:30 right now. And it is, so I do that because I have to go to work during the day, and so I need to get my stuff done in the morning, or I'll spend time at night doing it, but I definitely prefer to do it in the morning myself. Right now too, we are in an excessive heat watch, so it is going to be 100 degrees again today. It is actually, again, 6:30 in the morning. It is already 82 degrees outside. It didn't get lower than 80 degrees last night, and we are at 71% humidity. So it's definitely easier to get some of these things done in the morning before the heat of the day really kicks in. So I figured, again, I would just kind of talk you through, show you like what are some of the typical maintenance things that I do in my garden, in case you're kind of wondering, like, what does it take to, you know, have a garden, and like what are some of the things that you can expect to do. So the first area that I always come to is the one right on my patio. This is my herb area, and also where I have my green stock, and this is also where I start seeds in the summer. So I will turn you around and kind of show you what I am looking at. So this is the space that I stop at first. And as you can see, I have some seed trays that I have some seeds started in. This is actually for a community garden that I volunteer at, just some extra cucumbers to bring to them. And then this is all stuff that's going to be going in my garden. So I just check to make sure that it has water and everything looks good. And right now it's looking good. Then I have my herbs, and there's some stuff that I recently planted. So I'm just checking on how that's going, seeing if anything needs to kind of be pruned. Like this guy here, he's getting pretty long and blown over, so I could definitely use some of this if I needed to in my cooking this week. Also here for the mint's getting pretty full and lush, so I could probably stand to trim this a little bit as well. And then for my green stalk, I just rotate this every morning so that it gets the same amount of sun on each side as it grows, and that's actually looking really good. So that's typically what I do in the first space. Just kind of look everything over. As it continues to grow and I harvest, I'll start harvesting from there. But right now it's just kind of checking everything out. Then I head over into the main garden and kind of see what needs to be done there. So I'll give everything a look over and determine if there's anything that needs to be done. There is one thing I'm going to do today, and then a couple others that will probably have to wait until either this evening or tomorrow morning when I have more time. So here we are in the main garden area, and some of the things that I look for when I come out here are just kind of, how are the plants doing, particularly with the flowers? Like, does anything need to be deadheaded? Which I actually did that last night, so we're pretty good here, but I just take a look, are any blooms spent? Do I need to pull any off so that it continues to produce? As my plants start to grow on the trellis here, I will start to train them up. So I'm just kind of looking if they need any areas to attach to. We had a really bad storm 2 nights ago. We had 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it blew this bachelor button over. But can we just have a moment? Look at these blooms. Wow, I have never seen a color like this on a flower. So he needs a little bit of love to kind of be put back upright. So I'm just going to kind of move some of the dirt and soil back around to the side here. Just going to hope that he stays upright. It'll be fine, but just trying to kind of retrain him. The other thing that I'll look at is my tomatoes, and just start to kind of take notice on what is happening. So actually this is a basil that's got some spotting on it. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, because if it does have disease, I don't want it in the garden. And with the tomatoes, this is not on my list today. It'll probably be tomorrow, but you can see I've got some suckers starting to form. I do pinch my suckers and train to a single stem. Look, this guy is getting pretty big. So tomorrow I will probably come through and trim some of those. I also look to see if they need to be tied up to their stake. Right now, these ones are looking good. Tomatillos. I have never seen a tomato plant or a type of tomato relative with so many blooms as I have this tomatillo plant. It is absolutely incredible. I am so excited for these to continue to grow and ripen and make all the salsa verde until my heart is content. So you can see this tomato plant here is starting to grow a little sideways. So this one, probably tomorrow, I will tie up to the trellis just so it can continue to grow upright. And this one here actually has some little tomatoes on it, my first little tomatoes, so that's really exciting. He also could probably use a little staking upright. This is on my task for this morning. So this is my pea trellis, snap pea trellis. I am finally starting to get some snap peas. I am concerned that the heat is going to take this out, but we're going to hope for the best. But as you can see, it is really leaning because, again, the wind just came through and really tore this guy up. So I have some twine that I'm going to wrap around this and hopefully get it a little bit more upright. So that is on my task this morning. The other things that I look at, so like my broccoli here, I've harvested all of the main shoots. And again, it was 100 degrees yesterday. It's going to be 100 degrees today. And the broccoli's pretty much done for the season. So probably tonight or again tomorrow morning, I'll make note that I need to remove these broccoli plants and plant something else in their place. The other thing that needs to come out is my lettuce. It's just too hot. It has gotten bitter. It's not edible anymore. It is starting to bolt. And so I will need to take that out and plant it with something else as well. So here is what that looks like. It is just getting really big and bushy, and the center stalks are starting to come up as I look inside. And again, just as I taste the leaves, they just don't taste very well. Everything else looking okay. The peppers have been a little bit stunted since they went in, but peppers like it hot, so I have a feeling they'll recover nicely over the next few days. And the other thing that I'm noticing is one of my zucchini is doing really well. The other one kind of not growing, so keeping my eye on that because I may need to replant. But all in all, that's kind of what I look for in the garden in the morning. I just go through every day, see how things are doing, and start to kind of make my to-do list. Like if there's anything I need to do, anything I need to follow up on from the day before. So maybe hopefully this is helpful to you. I know when I started gardening, I was like, people were like, spend time in your garden every day. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm looking for in my garden. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the things to just kind of look for and watch for when you're walking your garden. I just want to show you guys. Now, I don't know if this is a butternut squash or a spaghetti squash because of course I didn't label and I don't remember what I planted, but he's doing really well. I'm gonna have to start to train him up the cattle panels shortly. And we're about to get our first bloom for our Benary's giant zinnia. All right, so time to tackle the pea trellis. Okay, so pea trellis is kind of upright again, and I put another row of twine around it, just to kind of hold everything in place. I have not gotten a single snap pea yet. This has been the slowest producing snap pea season ever. But as I'm looking, there are so many. So I've got 3 here, there's 1 back here. There are tons of flowers, as you can see, but then I looked over here. There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So another 1 here, down here. So I'm hoping over the next few days, if it can ride out this heat wave, that I will just be covered in snap peas. Here's a bunch more. I may pick a couple later tonight. That's okay, that'll continue to grow. That one down here. So fingers crossed that this survives the heat over the next few days. I may actually go back and grab another strip of twine and just tie up this kind of piece that's out on the side a little bit more too. So again, now I know that I need to show my tomatoes a little bit of love. I need to pull out my lettuce still and replant those, replant that box. I need to pull out my broccoli still and replant that area. And everything else is looking pretty good right now. So main garden assessed, not too much work this morning. Then I'll head over to my patio area where I have my herbs and a couple other tomato plants, which is right here. And these pots are looking good right now. I just fertilized them, they're looking a lot better. And then over here, I have 2 more tomato plants. They're looking good right now. They don't quite need to be staked up yet. But what's exciting is I have some fruit on this one too. Tomato season is coming. I'm really excited. One of the varieties I'm growing this year is the Sun Gold tomato, which from what I've seen is like a coveted tomato. I was so surprised at the cost too. I was able to get my hands on some seeds of Sun Gold from Botanical Interest. And normally seed packets are like $2.89 to $4, depending on what you're buying. And you generally get, you know, depending on the type of plant, 25 to maybe 100 seeds in like a normal packet that you would find at the store. You could buy bulk with like 500 or 1,000 seeds, but your normal seed packets are gonna have, you know, I'd say on average like 50 seeds of the particular variety. The Sun Gold packet that I bought, it was, I think it was $4 or $4.50, so it was on the higher end. Again, most seed packets are like $2.89 to $4. It's like $4 or $4.50, which I was fine paying. But then I got it and there were only 6 seeds in the packet because the Sun Gold is apparently this coveted cherry tomato that everyone loves. It's really hard to get. So I'm glad I got my hands on some, and I have 2 of them growing. So I'm really, really excited. And those are the ones that are fruiting right now. So really excited to see those. So then the last area I come to, which is actually what I'm gonna tackle this morning, is on the side of my house where my kitchen door comes outside. And I'm attempting to establish a perennial kind of herb and flower garden here that I hope will come back year after year. But as it's establishing, this area is normally just loaded down with weeds. And so my task this morning is to go ahead and de-weed it. So let me show you what it looks like now. So as you can see, there are a lot of weeds. The main weed I get is thistle. That is what grows like crazy on my entire property. But what I have found is hand pulling the weeds does keep them down. And now that I have some things growing in this place, it'll hopefully keep them more at bay as well. So I go through and I just hand pull all of these weeds. And I also need to trim the chives that are in here because they are done blooming. And I'll just kind of take a peek at everything. I think this is what I'm most excited about in this garden area. This is salvia. I am obsessed with salvia. I've always wanted it. I just think it is one of the most beautiful plants. So I decided to try growing it from seed this year. And it did not look good for the longest time when I planted it out. But now I have 4 of them in here. And the first 2 that I planted look amazing. This one in particular, I can see blooms on it and I am so excited, and I'm just like so proud that I grew this from seed myself. But I think these are buds that are coming and the plant is just looking really good. So besides that, I'm gonna go and start pulling up my weeds. So here's our before. And just like that, with the magic of cameras, and just like that, everything is weeded. Not 100%, but it is, I would say I strive for 70 to 80% improvement, and I would definitely say I'm there. And it's really exciting to just kind of see this space. So my vision was that this whole back area would be filled with flowers. I just took some flower seeds that I had, a random mixture, and kind of tossed them in the soil. So I've got different zinnias, I've got cosmos, nothing else really sprouted, but I'm happy with the zinnias and cosmos because it'll be a mixture of colors. I've got an extra marigold that I planted. And then I've got some other things through here. So I bought some alyssum and some other flowers to add in. I've got the violas that I grew from seed, which are just super cute. I've got some lavender, like I said, some chives. I've got some oregano, some sage. This is anise hyssop, which is a flowering kind of medicinal herb and flower. So excited to see that continue to grow. And yeah, I think this space is gonna look really lovely when it starts to fill in. So I know weeding is one of those things that people despise, and it's definitely not my favorite task, but I will say that when you are cultivating a new space, it's just kind of par for the course. Anytime that you are disturbing soil, you're gonna have weeds germinate. Also, if you don't use any chemicals, which I don't, I am chemical free. I do 100% organic gardening. You're just gonna have weeds, and you're gonna have to find the time to manage it. Could I have done things like put down landscape fabric and all of that type of stuff? Absolutely, but again, like cost-wise, I wasn't looking to kind of invest that much in this space. It's a small space. I can handle the hand weeding, and if I do it at least once or twice a week, I can stay on top of it. The other thing too is weeding doesn't become as big of a deal when you can kind of see the vision for the space and you know that you're spending your time, you know, taking care of it. Like it's just part of the course of gardening. But anyways, back to the original point of this video. Hopefully you learn maybe some tips and tricks on things that you can look for in your own garden and how you can spend time in your garden every day. That's really how you can keep things from getting out of control and the garden just feeling like it's very overwhelming. Spend time in it each day and just kind of see what has to be done and spend a little bit of time doing each of those tasks each day. I will say for the weeding portion of this, it took me about a half hour, so not bad. I've now been outside doing things in the garden while filming for about 45 minutes, and that's really all I need to do today. I'm gonna work on the other things like removing the broccoli and the lettuce later on this evening or tomorrow morning probably. Probably tomorrow morning. We're supposed to get a pretty bad storm overnight, so I don't want any seeds that I put down to kind of wash away. But yeah, that's kind of next on my list, and we'll just kind of continue to see the spaces grow and evolve. But thanks so much for spending the morning with me. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully you learned a few tips and tricks. If you have any additional questions or comments on things that you look for in your garden when you spend time in it, leave it down in the comments below. And I would love it if you subscribed before you left. I will catch you in my next video. Bye.